Let's podcast alongside Joe Giglio. I'm Joe Ovies inside Eford Studios in downtown Raleigh, thanks to Empire Properties and thanks to Copiers Plus. Check them out online at copiers-plus.com. You might be printing out your old college football plays from NCAA 14 or before that, because I don't think I've played a college football game from EA Sports in longer than that, honestly. But happy College Football 25 to all who observe, Joe. Today's the day. Today's the early access day.
Is today finally the day?
Today's the day.
My social media timeline needs a fucking cleanse, sir. If I see, look at these uniform options for Tulane. Oh my God. And then people are like, this is like our old Carolina tweets, like, Tyler Hansbrough is a problem. Huffy face. You know, it's like, oh my God, this entrance for Penn State is so unbelievable. I'm ready to go right now.
It's funny.
And it's like, you realize all these people who are, you know, self-pleasuring themselves to these intros are going to be in such a big hurry to skip said intro in just like 5 hours.
Yeah.
Right? Like, but spare me the heavy breathing. And the heavy petting over the intro video for ECU football.
No. It has nothing to do with that. The part that I find funny is that the people who are on the timeline obsessing over College Football 25, which I'm not trying to yuck your yum, man. I get it. Like, I get excited.
I am.
So like when the
I don't want to see that shit.
No. Like when the new Nintendo Switch comes out next year, you know I'm going to be geeking out for that stuff, right? You know me. Like this is not about you deriving any sort of enjoyment out of college from my perspective.
Right.
You might be a hater. That's fine. I'll let you be a hater.
Yeah.
For me,
play the game in peace.
No.
Have your own time.
That's what social media is for, dude. That's what it's all about, right? So speaking of pleasuring yourself, I mean, people could make the same argument about you anytime like an NC State highlight shows up these days.
No. I try to connect the pieces.
I saw your Tuffy Talk.
I try to connect the pieces for the people. My Tuffy Talk people are good.
I know. I saw you. I know
crickets were good.
It was from the waist up. I know what was going on.
Crickets were good.
No, but here's my thing. It's not about the intro. It's not about any of that stuff. I want to see where your excitement level is when everybody else gets online and you realize it ain't the game you thought it was back in the day. Or I believe I saw your friend Josh Goodson tweet out this morning, am I going to have to go and buy a PS5? Buddy, this is not a Super Nintendo. You just don't take it out the box, plug it in, and you put the game in and you're playing. Oh, no. That's going to take you about a week's worth of time of setup before you even hit start. And then you have an upgrade that you have to do anyway that's about 20 gigs. The gaming is different now, man.
Oh,
totally different now. So that's what I'm waiting for. But no, what I think is even better is that we're getting dangerously close to, if it hasn't already happened, only about 50 days until I tell my family, F off.
I think it's 45.
Is it 45 days?
Yeah.
45 days until I tell my family, no, I'm not.
I don't like you.
I'm not going antiquing with you. It's time to watch week 0 action and then go see my friends at the podcast festival at the Rialto. You go do that stuff. It's football time. Let's go.
Is it Florida State
and Georgia Tech?
Somebody out in the wilderness,
yeah,
right?
Florida State, Georgia Tech, which I believe we're going to be doing a watch party on week 0 ahead of the podcast festival.
Nice.
Very excited about that. But no, I know we're getting close to the start of the football season or we need to get close to the start of the football season because people are just going all in on, trying to derive any sort of takes for this upcoming season based on ESPY awards. So you saw Cam Newton
Awards?
You saw Cam Newton talking to Bryce Young, right? At the ESPYs.
I did see that. Yes.
So I pulled this up on YouTube if you're watching. Here's the audio. I think Panthers 24/7 clipped it from ESPN. And I'm going to hit play here, but I think you and I both had the same reaction when we saw Bryce Young and Cam Newton on screen at the same time.
Now, this is the thing that I do.
Okay. I'm just going to stop it right here. Joe, what's your first thought when you see Cam Newton and Bryce Young together?
One of them looks like Thanos, and one of them looks like Ant-Man. That's all I can see.
You know, if it's a shame that our friend Aaron Beard is not here in studio with us because are we talking about Thanos and Ant-Man?
We are.
You know, there's a theory about how you could have ended that movie series real quick.
A lot easier.
A lot easier if he shrunk down to something. I think The Boys did it, but with another body part. You should watch that. You shouldn't watch The Boys.
No.
Don't watch The Boys.
So confusing.
It is not for the weak. It's not for the weak with some of the visuals. But yeah, that was my first thought too. I was like, dang, man. Like if you ever needed more evidence that, man, Bryce Young's just not built the same. Like,
what does Dimitri call him? His sweet prince? His tiny sweet prince?
Tiny sweet prince, yes. Who was it that told you, you and me, we ain't the same?
You and me. CJ Leslie.
CJ
you and me. We ain't the same.
Now, to be fair, if I go full letter Kenny here, to be fair, Cam is a Bryce Young fan. He likes his game. So here's the exchange.
No, I mean, I've talked to a lot of people here, but this conversation is a little different. I know what you're going through. I've been where you are, the frustration and even yearning for the success, right? The city of Charlotte, the Carolinas as a whole, when they see you, what is something that you want them to know from the horse's mouth?
I just want them to know that I'm giving my all. We as a team, as an organization, we're giving our all.
Yes,
Again, I get it, being a sports fan, being whatever it is. I appreciate how passionate of a city of the states that the Carolinas are. I'm grateful for that. I love being a part of that. We don't want anything worse than want to win. We all want to we're doing whatever it takes. We're putting the work, and we're going to continue to do that. So we appreciate the passion. We love it. And I just want everyone in the Carolinas to know we're going to give our all to get where we need to be.
Absolutely. Everything great takes time. Rome was not built in one day.
Or as our friend Matt Rule once said, you know, it took 7 years for Jay-Z to become an overnight success. 7-year plan.
Hey, if Auburn and Alabama can get along, anybody can get along, man.
I can change. You can change. We can all change.
Speaking of things that are populating my timelines these days,
what's that?
have you seen some of the Bryce Young discourse of like, this game against the Packers, he was the highest rated passer.
Oh, the tape eaters
on plays outside the pocket in the fourth quarter of any quarterback all season. Then they like show you the highlights from that Packers game, and I'm just like, cool.
Pablo Torre recently got into some hot water when he was filling in for Levitard last week. He got in a little bit of hot water by, and I actually agree with him, the fetishizing of football jargon, the tape eaters, the people who just go on social media and they tell you, I'm looking at something that you can't see. I mean, that's really what it's about, right? And Pablo's point was,
you just don't know.
Right. Pablo's point is like, what are we doing here? Are we actually trying to educate, or are we just trying to flex on like, I know something you don't? Now, the answer to that is I'm trying to flex something that you don't know, which gets to that kind of stuff that you see. I'm more fascinated by the dynamic between Christian McCaffrey and Cam Newton at this point. You could do all the tape eating you want. The thing that I'm more curious about is what exactly is going on here. I have a theory. So, quick context. Christian McCaffrey got married.
Christian McCaffrey, former Panther, former teammate of Cam Newton. Yeah.
Did you watch that Amazon show with the Panthers?
No.
It was actually pretty good. I thought was better than what we see with Hard Knocks these days.
Okay.
So the Amazon Panthers thing, they had a lot of clips of Cam, Greg Olsen, and the crew just hanging out in the QB room, just with snacks everywhere. And they would always just kind of have these existential conversations. It was pretty entertaining. So clearly they vibe together. It's fine. So Christian McCaffrey gets married. You see pictures of Greg Olsen there. Cam's not there. So Cam goes on his podcast.
Shouts to Blue Wire.
Yeah, he's our colleague. Cam Newton, our colleague over at Blue Wire these days. Cam says this, and there's a response from Christian McCaffrey we'll get to.
Out to the McCaffreys, man. Christian and
Oh, no. Hold on.
They tied the knot, bro.
Look. Damn. See, Matt, I couldn't get an invite. Well, I know what. Is it because of the Brock Purdy beef? Was Brock there?
But you was the first QB, though. Man, there's probably so many people.
Fuck that, man! You lucky I wasn't there, see, man, because I would have crashed that motherfucker. I would have crashed it, man. Oh, my God. It looked like they had so much fun, man. I don't know if I would have been able to go. Sometimes.
There it is. There it is. There it is. Now, I'll get to that in a second. I want you to remember Cam saying, I don't even know if I would have gone, or if I could have gone. Just hold that thought.
You're skipping the best part here.
least wanted to say, nah, bro, I can't make
Can't
it.
make it.
I would at least wanted to give you a present or
Like, he
something.
said, I'm gonna send you a gift.
I found out, Jazz said, damn, baby, they look good. I said, yeah, they do look good.
What they
First
do?
thing she said, Olivia changed outfits 3 times. Shit, one of the outfits could have been a damn Ashika hat. That would have been. Damn.
Sorry,
See,
kid.
Mac, fuck.
So Christian McCaffrey got into Cam Newton's Instagram and commented. Me talking
my
to
favorite part was when Cam pointed out that there weren't any black people.
Did
at the
I miss
wedding.
that
But they look like Greg.
Come on, Greg.
God,
Look at him, bro.
that looks so in typical C-Mac, looking like fucking James Bond.
Yes, dog.
Like, what the fuck is this? This guy not fucking sweat? It look like fucking Greg came out of a pool.
Yes.
Look at his lips, guys. It's like he drunk fucking gallons of wine. I wanted to be there, bro.
You like you ran up on the picture. Hey, you was gonna leave me out,
And
guys?
from the photograph, it looked like they needed some color in that motherfucker anyway.
Whew. So CMC response. Talking to Greg at the bar. This was a great night, but you know what would have made it even better? Greg, what? Me, if Cam were here. I haven't gotten a text back in 4 years. In fact, they just go green now. Damn. Greg takes a sip of whiskey. He would have loved it. 4 years, even on Instagram? Only once on there, but that don't count. Insert laugh track. He orders another round while they both sit in silence for 30 seconds. Christian, why don't he love me, man? Camera cuts to the highlights of Cam and Christian together while with arms wide open playing by Creed. I have a theory. And Cam kind of gave away the game. This is where Cam and I are the same. You and me, we ain't the same.
We ain't the same.
But in one sense only, and people who know me, you included, know this very well about me. I just want to be invited. So then I can tell you, I got something coming up.
We got something else that day.
This happened with lunch all the time. All the time. All the time.
Yeah, you would.
All the
Why
time.
didn't you include me?
You get included.
No,
I gotta do this. I got a thing.
I'm gonna go clean the band room over there.
I gotta take Jacob to hockey.
Yeah,
I can't do that. It's like, I saw you guys were hanging out on Saturday night. Where what? Well, I ended up. I couldn't have done it. So that Cam and I, we are the same in that regard.
Blue Wire.
Absolutely the same.
All the
Blue
way.
Wire. What up? We got
Our team.
I think we should probably.
Teammates.
Should we finally cash that chip, or should we wait till the football season?
I mean, we are going to be in Charlotte in 2 weeks if he's there.
I don't know.
Is his home base Charlotte still or Atlanta?
I think it's in Atlanta now.
Okay.
I think it's in Atlanta now.
I would just like the podcast set up. I mean, if we're being honest.
Yeah, I mean, that's real Blue Wire.
That's right.
I don't know where we are in the
That's
totem
good
pole.
stuff.
I mean, hey. I mean, I don't know what Cam's numbers are, but I'm guessing his numbers are better than
Just
ours.
a little bit.
Hey,
Just
man,
a
ours
smidge.
are thrown in there to help, though.
Come on. Don't shortchange us.
When Blue Wire goes and sells spots, we're like, hey, we got Cam, and then we got this little these little satellites, these little
Well,
contributors.
that's why we all come together.
That's right. It's one
Sell a
collective
bundle.
group. What it's all about. I will say this though, seeing the Cam and the Bryce Young stuff to get me thinking, Joe, it's about that time. You know what time it is? It's NFL futures time. You ready?
I'm ready.
I was on the DraftKings app. You can go to the DraftKings app, download it, use that promo code OG24, bet $5, you get $150 in bonus bets. It got me thinking about some Panthers things. The Panthers are plus 500 to make the playoffs.
To make the playoffs.
To make the playoffs.
Okay.
They are plus 1,100 to win the division. The Atlanta Falcons, the Fighting Kirk Cousins, are the favorites at minus 115. But this is the real question you should be asking yourself. Are the Panthers, of the 8 teams that finished last in their division, where do they stack with the other teams that could go from worst to first? It's worst to first time, Joe.
Let's do it.
You know we've hit the middle of the summer because it's always there. There's 2 things you can crack open in the middle of the summer. You can do a Mount Rushmore, or you can do worst to first. Can't do my Mount Rushmore idea today. That would probably get me canceled.
19 of the last 21 seasons, a team has gone from worst in their division to first. Last year, it was the Houston Texans. So our options this year are the Patriots in the AFC East, the Bengals in the North, the Titans in the South, and the Chargers and Jimmy Harbaugh out West. On the NFC side, we have Washington. We have the Bears and the Vikings. You could take either. They both finished last.
They both technically finished last.
You have the Panthers, DFL, and the Cards out West, DFL. So odds-wise, you want to start in the AFC?
I think on the AFC, the obvious choice is going to be the obvious choice. The obvious choice to me on the AFC side is the Chargers.
Oh, the Chargers.
Yes,
that's my choice
because of the Harbaugh effect.
Chargers are plus 320 to win the division.
The reason why I think it's an obvious choice is twofold. One, this is a Brandon Staley, like this guy ruined. Now a real coaching genius is going to be there.
Yeah, they won games in spite of their coach.
Okay, now of course there's the division that's a problem. Games. Right.
Well, their one team is a problem, but do they care?
But at some point, the Tyreek Hill will.
It'll catch up.
It'll catch up to him. This might be the year.
The Broncos stink.
Awful.
The Raiders have no quarterback.
Real quick about the Broncos. I was looking to see. The Panthers probably have the worst odds to win the Super Bowl. No. It's actually the Broncos at plus 30,000 to win the Super Bowl.
The Broncos are 1,800 just to win their division.
Oh, jeez.
They're a train wreck. The Titans plus 1,000.
Here's the question.
The Bengals are plus 145. I thought you were going to say the Bengals when you said obvious.
But here's the question. It's a
tough freaking division.
That's the problem. That's a
tough division.
That the Bengals weren't bad. It was that Joe Burrow got hurt for the second half of the season. And this is kind of we've been spending so much time this summer talking about the Carolina Hurricanes at a window. The Bengals are probably approaching a window too with guys that are going to be due to get paid. So do you buy so much in the Joe Burrow effect that they're going to be able to get over what is already a very difficult division?
It's tough.
Versus the Chargers. And all you got to do is beat one team, baby.
Are you ready for my you've talked me into ridiculous parlays,
yes,
by the way.
Yes.
Most of them are all futures at this point, but I did take a parlay. This was a week ago. Are you ready?
What's that?
You can bet on teams to make the playoffs. Then you could put those teams together in a parlay. So I have the Chiefs with the 49ers, which are the two top teams. Then I have the Dolphins, the Chargers, because I do believe in Harbaugh.
Okay.
And my guy, Mike Tomlin, I think he's going to get the best out of either one of those quarterbacks.
All right.
So those 5 teams together are odds of plus 1,248. I like that.
What about the NFC side?
I like that a lot.
What about the NFC side?
The team to go worst to first?
Worst to first.
I mean, the Cards do get their quarterback back. They added the best player in the draft, and Marvin Harrison Jr., right? So in theory,
not the Bears.
I don't see it though.
I mean, it's not like, you got to, I know everybody loves the Lions. I get that.
Lions and Packers are the two teams that people are keen on.
Yes. But I mean, is it a matter of it's a reminder that it's not like the Bears were terrible.
No, I mean, they were capable. It was a different quarterback.
Quarterback though. And they've got
it's the same coach.
That might be the issue.
It kind of gives me pause when same with the Jets this year. You know, I was surprised the Jets weren't the last place team. I forgot about the Belichick toaster oven disaster up there. Toaster oven fire. What is it? Dumpster fire.
Fire.
And quite frankly, I was surprised the Jets kept their coach. You know, sometimes that's why I'm so big on Harbaugh. And you look at Harbaugh, his first year in San Fran, they won 13 games. They weren't a good team the year before.
No. Are we going Matt Rule here? It's going to take year 2 for the Chargers.
But I'm saying Harbaugh's a year 1 guy. Year 1 at Michigan, he won 10 games.
Okay.
So I think you're right. It's not only who are you and what is your specialty, but who are you replacing?
Yes.
You know, how does that message kind of resonate?
That's where the Staley effect comes in.
Yeah.
Because
never forget all the guy had to do was take a knee at the end of regulation to make the playoffs. Both teams would have made the playoffs. He was like, nah, we're good. Nah, we're good. It's all good. Gonna kick a field goal.
All right. So none of us are taking to the Panthers. Is that what I'm reading here? Yeah, no.
I actually don't, given working under the premise of what is in their division, right? I think they have I would take them to win their division, sure. As a flyer.
As a flyer, yeah. If you're putting $5 down,
I'm thinking probably more for the Panthers is to take their over-under, because I do think they will outperform what their win total is going to be posted.
Makes sense.
I would take that.
That makes sense. The question,
But I just don't trust everything else.
I haven't, like you said last week, I haven't completely flipped over to football mode yet. I feel like this is the week where I'll flip over to football mode because we got ACC kickoff coming up. We got SEC Media Days, which we're going to get to in a second. But, off the top of my head, we've been so focused on Bryce Young. We've been so focused on, what weapons are around him and what Dave Canales has been talking about and getting the basics, right? We talked about this a few weeks ago where it's like, let's just find the plays that work and then do them really, really well, right?
Yeah.
What we haven't talked about is the defense. And that's going to be the problem. And that's going to be the thing that flipping over for the Panthers and Dave Canales, what has been the calling card, what has been the thing that the Panthers have been known for, what they had in terms of talent, it's going to be a little bit of a changeover. So
the Panthers right now are minus 115 to win 6 games.
Yeah.
That's a good number.
It's not bad.
I would take that.
All right. As you can see, we are having lots of fun with these futures. You can get it on the fun too. Like, look, if you just want to put a couple bucks down on some ridiculous odds that State's going to win the ACC, you can do that. All you got to do is go to DraftKings, download the app today, use that promo code OG24, put $5 down, you'll get $150 in bonus bets. Again, only on DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Or in West Virginia, visit 1-800-GAMBLER.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 and over. Age varies by jurisdiction. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. Deposit and eligibility restrictions apply. See terms and responsible gaming resources at dkng.co/MMA.
Housekeeping.
Do you have your housekeeping chart ready to go, Joe?
I didn't make a chart because I got a little sidetracked. I was trying to. I know you're going to find this amusing.
Okay.
I haven't even told you this.
It's brought to you by Enovana. Check them out online, enovana.com. Green Cleaning Solutions, ENOVANA.com.
If you have mess inside your mansion or cash in your cabana, get it clean with Enovana.
All right, so I'm curious. What,
All right,
what did you get
so
distracted by?
On Friday, usually it's like an administrative day.
Yes.
Let's call it that.
Yes.
I was like, you know what? I like making little flyers. I make a flyer. I'm going to try to, because we have like 5 things coming up.
I know.
And I was like, man, I'm going to start making flyers. So here's my first one. This is the Monster Jam. Let's see. I can zoom in on that, can I?
You can, yes.
A little bit, but we need to see everything, right? So we want to text. You can win tickets to Monster Jam thanks to our friend Sleek Fleet. Just text the word JAM24 919 335-8840. Thanks again to our friends at Sleek Fleet. So I was like, okay, cool. But this is not as cool as like Ovius's cats in space or whatever that you had done.
My AI generated cats.
Yeah. So then I was like, okay, well, we have the OG live on Thursday.
And it was cats playing football.
We're going to be at the factory. So look at this one that I made.
Yeah.
I was kind of proud of that one. I got the Roosters. I got our flag. We're going to Sleek Fleet OG live. Will be Thursday. At the factory, there's the Wake Forest address for the factory. I was feeling good.
Mm-hmm.
Then all these things wanted to start charging me money.
Oh, real quick on the 2 Roosters, because I did have this jotted down for
That's Thursday
as we build out our ad breaks.
It's Thursday.
Yeah, so Thursday 2 to 3, we're going to be out there for the
Sports
2
Day.
Roosters, because all week is 2 Roosters birthday week.
Yes.
Okay. All their locations. Check out their social media sites. 2 Roosters on Instagram is the easiest way to do it, so you can see what they're doing every day. On Thursday, we're going to be there early from 2 to 3. But in the evening, Abby Lampy is going to be in the house. She's going to bring the cheese, which is very, very cool. They have a sports flight of ice cream.
Ooh.
So 6 different flavors, all tied into the sports. I will say this about 2 Roosters, because I was at the Lake Boone location yesterday.
Yeah, you stumbled upon something.
I did an impromptu, or not an impromptu, but it was an informal team meet for Jacob's hockey team. So it was like, hey, it's hot. It's middle of Sunday.
Who doesn't like ice cream?
Who doesn't love ice cream in the middle of the summer, right? It's cool off with some ice cream. So you know this about me. I'm not fully lactose intolerant. We call it the Ovies curse in my house. What my dad calls the Ovies curse, my brother and I have determined, oh no, we're just lactose intolerant. That's what it is. But my brother doesn't care. He just takes Lactaid for like everything. He, as I like to joke with him, you keep that thing on you.
Yes.
At all times. I don't, because I've really cut out a lot of dairy from my diet. So when I showed up, when I have ice cream, I'm just saying, like, I'm sacrificing my body. As people who've watched this podcast, listened to this podcast, or have known my career, I put my body on the line a lot.
For you, yes.
For me.
Yeah.
So anyway,
No, for the listener.
and for the listener.
Yeah.
So when I walked up, I had never noticed it before, but they had a dairy-free cookies and cream.
Okay.
I went, oh,
And you're thinking,
I'm intrigued.
Can't possibly be as good as the real thing.
There's no way.
Not a chance.
Not a chance. I was wrong. Because damn, that cookies and cream was legit.
Why would you ever question Jared?
Hey man, sometimes you worry. Like you have enough experiences with the replacement type thing or a substitute type thing. It's not the same thing. This was legit. So shout out to Two Roosters for that dairy-free cookies and cream. All right, so golf tournament, that's done. No more takers for the golf tournament, right?
Mm.
That's sold out.
Well,
Uh-oh.
we've had a great response, legitimately. And I'm rethinking this. How many groups can we take? thing.
Okay, what are we doing here?
Send me a note if you're itching to play. Send me a note because it is par max. So, and there are enough par fives on the course that we're gonna have to double up a little bit.
Okay. All right.
So again, gilio.joe@gmail.com.
Big thanks to Roback. I will be rocking a Roback shorts. I'm debating whether or not if I can find a Roback print polo for that day, just for a special occasion.
No,
You don't think so?
no. I am going to invite our friends though to bring some shirts for them to sell because they have the best golf shirt.
Mhm.
Okay, and I get it. There are certain people who only want to wear stuff that they can try on.
It's going to be too hot for the hoodie, unfortunately.
They want to try on. I get that part of it.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So they're online only. So go to Rollback, RHO back.com. Use our promo code OG20. You'll save 20% on your order. But I think once you try this on or feel this thing, you'll never go back. It's the best golf shirt there is. So I want them to bring some shirts. I want them to move some merch, man, because I know that they can. You just have to try it on, and you'll see. My dad and I were out yesterday. I think it was 98 yesterday.
It was gross yesterday.
Ridiculous. Everything was hot except our tops.
OG20. Use that promo code to save some money. We also got the podcast festival that is coming up week 0, as you mentioned. That's brought to you by Breeze Through. Check them out online at breezethrough.com. Every time we mention it, we sell some tickets. A couple things to keep in mind. We got a hoodie, an exclusive hoodie for the event from Home Field, which I'm very excited about.
Yeah.
Some people have been asking the question, it's August 24th and you guys are selling hoodies. I get that.
Sure.
But you're going to want that hoodie just a month later when it starts cooling down.
Yeah. Plus it's home field.
The hoodies
Home field
are fantastic.
A really, really good job.
So you go get those tickets at therialto.com. Big thanks to
Hayes.
Breeze Through and Hayes for making all this stuff work. We got some other things that we're working on.
Yeah, I was gonna say, don't forget, Breeze Through is going to be with us at this OG Summer Jam, which is Sunday, the 28th, July 28th. That's down at the Crank Arm Brewing in downtown Raleigh. That's West Davie Street. Come hang out with us. We have the Breeze Through food truck will be there. If you've never had their food truck before, it's great. Really good stuff.
You know what I realized is happening that same day, and I'm kind of excited about this for people watching purposes?
I have nothing.
Galaxy Con is taking place in downtown Raleigh that
Perfect.
day. So we're going to get people in cosplay hype about this.
And you'll be there in your Mario.
I might.
And I'll be there, Luigi.
I might. We're going to talk about the Big 12 here in a second, which might be brought to you by another insurance company.
No,
it's not.
No,
it's the Matt Davis 12. State Farm, InsureGarner.com, the OGInsurance.com. Call them directly at 919-779-8277. And when you call the office of Matt Davis, say, hey, real big fan of the Matt Davis 12.
Matt's going to create a logo for this because he's like, when I texted him about it, he was like, I thought you were kidding. And I was like, no, man.
No, man.
And I said, this was even before we knew that a different company was actually going to be the real sponsor. I said, well, we will not recognize that other company. We will only recognize it.
Only recognize
as the Matt Davis 12. So yeah, give them a call, 779-8277. Save on all of your insurance needs. There's so many people have already done that. And we're always appreciative when you say, hey, yeah, we heard about this on the OG.
So we have the start of SEC Media Days. That's 4 days. Today through Thursday.
Where
Next
are
week
they?
is ACC. I don't know. I honestly do not know. Are they in Hoover?
I think they finally moved out of there.
Are they in Atlanta?
That sounds right.
Makes sense for them to be in Atlanta. But
no, Dallas.
Oh, it's in Dallas.
Because somebody was like posting an SMU picture and they were like, I'm here in ACC country.
Oh,
because they're in Texas.
That's
Oklahoma.
right. Because Texas and Oklahoma. Okay,
Yeah.
Gotcha. So if I have my schedule correct, and we'll talk about this a little bit more later in the week, because we're recording this before Greg Sankey's State of the SEC, where it just means more. I can tell you it's not going to be the same as the Brett Yormark press conference from last week, which we'll get to in a second. My guy, the SEO commish, baby. So I'm sure Greg Sankey will talk about how the SEC is best positioned and the college football playoff questions will come up. I'll be interested to see what he has to say about those types of things. And I'm sure he's going to ask questions about future expansion because the Big 12 has been very open for business, as they like to say. Could they envision a scenario where they're going to bring on more teams? I'll be curious to see how Greg Sankey handles all of that stuff. We did mention that ACC Media Days are next week. We're going to be out there Wednesday and Thursday of next week for the locals. You got Duke and Wake Forest on Wednesday. You've got State and Carolina on Thursday. So we're going to be doing stuff from there on Wednesday or Thursday of next week. And I was looking at futures, and clearly Florida State and Clemson are your ACC favorites, right? NC State, though, sneaky, plus 700. North Carolina is plus 3,000. Here's what I found interesting. NC State on DraftKings was listed at 8.5 wins over under. Over 8.5 wins was minus 125. Under is plus 105. What are you thinking, Joe? You've been banging on that schedule, which is probably why it's minus. It's probably why it's minus 125. But this is also NC State we're talking about.
I think, here's what I think. Normally, you would say NC State will find a way to go 8-4. Normally, you would say that.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
I think the schedule's so bad that their new Mendoza line is 9-3. With the real possibility that if they tie their shoes, they're 10-2. Like, that's how bad their schedule is.
So losses to Tennessee, and then Tennessee to start the season, and then what? I called this shot last year. They're going to lose to Carolina.
Oh, yeah, no.
Because the universe is funny like that.
No, it's funny. This can go two ways, right? If you beat Tennessee, you set yourself up. If you could split with Tennessee and Clemson, you set yourself up.
Yeah,
you set yourself up mentally.
Absolutely.
I think if you lose both of those games, that's going to be a little bit of a mental hurdle. I also worry about Grayson McCall's staying healthy.
Okay.
That's the number one concern I would have. And then the second part of NC State is...
When you say stay healthy, we are talking about a guy who dealt with a concussion last year.
You're talking about a guy who hasn't played a full season since...
Like, it's been 2 years, right?
I was going to say since the pandemic, which was a shortened season.
Okay.
So his health would be number one for me. And then like the overarching question with NC State this year is Dave Doran going to let the team try to win 38-35? Is that in his DNA? Because I think their offense is going to be the strength of the team. I think they'll have a harder time replacing Peyton Wilson than they think.
Mm-hmm.
So the question is, will he be comfortable not only winning that way, but coaching that way?
Yes.
Because that's a different mindset.
We talked about this last week with Eric McLean.
Mm-hmm.
I talked about this with Wes Durham while you were on vacation.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked them both that very similar question. I can identify what NC State's strengths and weaknesses are going to be this upcoming season. And the strength, for the first time in a long time, is going to be offensive side of the ball, not defensive side of the ball. And I argued this, 2 years ago with Devin Leary, when everybody was all...
3 years ago.
Was it 3 years ago?
Yeah.
Now? Where everybody was,
when he was
all
healthy. You were,
oh my goodness, oh, here we go. We got this offense, we got this QB, all this other stuff, right? And I just thought to myself, y'all,
it's not how Dave wants to play.
That's not how Dave wants to play.
You were right.
Dave wants to play a very specific kind of way and win games that kind of way. I don't see that changing. At this point, you kind of are who you are. And Tony Gibson is relied upon to, whether you've got a Peyton Wilson or not, go and produce and coach them up. And none of that coach them up stuff, right? Yeah. Well, they're going to coach. They develop. Because again, that's another thing about NC State. They develop players into being this. So the year is going to be a development of what they see on the defensive side of the ball. I think that's going to be a focal point for them.
Yeah.
Dave doesn't want turnovers.
Right.
That's all. He does not want turnovers. So you're not going to be out there Harrison Becking this stuff, man. Airing it out.
I'll say the other advantage that they have this year for state football, unlike 22, which is the year you're talking about, where they went into it and everyone was like, okay, this is the year.
Thank you.
But it was like everyone was gripping it so tight that like, oh my God, you have to do it this year or you'll never do it. This and that and the other. Yeah. And there was so much pressure on the situation. They go to ECU, and quite frankly, they were lucky just to beat ECU.
Mm-hmm.
And then that was a red flag. That was every color flag to me that this team was in trouble.
Yeah.
And this group doesn't have that pressure because of what happened in the spring with men's basketball, women's basketball, and the success that the school has had now.
That's fair.
Baseball too.
That's fair.
Right? Like now you're going into the season like, wow, what a bonus this would be if we could play for the ACC championship. What a bonus this would be if we could make the playoff, right?
Yeah,
I don't see that same type of pressure. It's a different pressure than from what 22 was.
I'll push back on this. You're right in that the pressure around NC State, the thirst levels to win something of anything, has been taken off the table because of what happened with basketball. But there is pressure on Dave Doran.
Sure.
And this is another one of those Dave Doran windows that we've talked about in the last 10 years. You've mentioned the schedule where people are going, look, because it's not like, you got to remember that last year and the year before that, the last 2 years, Dave Doran's conversation, or the conversation we have around Dave Doran, is completely different based on the last game of the year.
Correct.
Completely different.
Correct.
But I'm not talking about the bowl game. I'm talking about the game against Carolina.
Yeah.
Completely different based on those two games. So I still think there is pressure on Dave.
It's the last 3 years because you're discounting the miracle win against with Emeka Emezi.
You're right. Completely forgetting about that one too. So yeah, the last 3 years, how we talk about Dave is completely different because of that UNC game. Now that's how it's supposed to be because rivalries matter. Totally get that, which gets us to the Tar Heels. And we talked about, offense, defense, XYZ. I think Carolina is one of the greatest unknowns. And I thought that DraftKings, the odds makers, have it perfectly for North Carolina because North Carolina, much like NC State, is a 7 or 8 win team year in, year out. And UNC over 7.5 wins is -115, and under 7.5 wins is -105.
I love their schedule too, to be perfectly honest with you. I obviously they're still a talented team. They have a different identity this year without Drake May, without Sam Howell. Mm-hmm. It becomes a little bit more difficult. Amarian Hampton, I can't say enough good things about him and what I think of him.
If you were still doing ACC fantasy football, you would have him.
Oh yeah,
easily.
Yeah, he would be my keeper. Yeah, and because he's somebody that I know and watched in high school. So
sure,
it'll be a different year for them. It's hard for Carolina in the sense that they had. It's not unlike a Phillip Rivers situation at State where you've had now two, and they defied the odds in Drake, if you really think about it.
Yes.
Because Sam Howell was kind of like their Phillip Rivers in the sense that this generational quarterback, and NC State really, really struggled to replace Phillip Rivers. They went all the way to Russell Wilson. They went from 04 to 09.
Who was the other guy? Not Olin Hannum.
Well, Olin Hannum was the backup. It was Marcus Stone and Jay Davis.
That was the guy.
They had two guys that, it's really hard to replace that guy.
And they had him.
So Carolina has defied the odds just in having Drake to follow Sam.
Mm-hmm.
And the truth of the matter is for Carolina football, I'm going to do it, but they can't come to Raleigh in the situation that they were in last year and not show up for the football game. And that's what they did last year. They did not even show up for the football game. And I don't know how they recover as a program, as a fan base with the same coach. I thought Bubba Cunningham and probably Truth Serum, he probably replaces Mac Brown after the way that the team faded at the end of last year. Truth and matter. So now you have to try to rally something where you want to believe in something. Mm-hmm. And who do they play where you're going to believe in them? And early in the season, it's usually that's how Mac got people in year one. Remember?
Yeah.
They went and beat South Carolina in his first game when everyone was like, oh my God, South Carolina always wins these games in Charlotte. And here's Sam Howell. They win the football game.
Mm-hmm.
2 weeks later, they beat Miami, So who can they beat early in the season? Like if they beat Minnesota, are people going to be jammed up? Probably not. They do play Duke relatively early in the year. And that kind of sort of helps, but not really. They play Florida State in November. I just fear by that point you're going to have checked out. You're going to have the malaise, the mendacity kind of check in of where they are.
That's been a problem.
I'm not impugning them as a program. I'm just trying to say like they very well could go 7-5 or 8-4 this year.
Mm-hmm.
They very well could,
and it'll be very under the radar.
But it'll be kind of like it'll be a little bit like. If the quarterbacks stay healthy, you'll look at it and be like, well, who'd they beat?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And There's nothing wrong with State or Carolina going 8-4. By the way,
No, because that's what those programs are historically.
that's not what they are.
Well, no,
It's
no,
what
let me
they
take it
are.
back.
The new 12-game schedule.
Yeah, I was going to say what they are historically are 500 programs.
Yes.
Both NC State and North Carolina are the Spider-Man pointing meme. They've
Correct.
always been the Spider-Man pointing meme, and why you and I have always had a hard time with whatever coaching staff comes in, whether it's at NC State or North Carolina, and they talk up this and this and this. Like, no, y'all the same. Y'all the same. When one's on the rise, the other will surprise you and kind of knock you down. And again, it goes both ways, which is why I jokingly say, watch North Carolina beat NC State this year, because that's the way of the universe when it comes to triangle football.
I totally agree with
That's
that.
just how it happens.
But I don't think like Carolina's going to be bad. Like I don't think Carolina's falling off the face of the earth. They have too much talent for that. And I also think the schedule is way too amenable for that.
Yeah.
But I just think it could very well be an empty calorie 8-4 season where you sit and you go,
Yeah. That's
well, wait a second.
That's probably
what were we really, like you said with Dave back in the day, what's the one game where you win and you were like, I need a cigarette and you feel good about? How many seasons has Dave gone 7-5 or 8-4 and not had a real signature win? I mean, that's a real thing. I mean, they have Florida State on their schedule. Obviously, to your point, they could beat State. They could end the year and beat State and go 8-4 and feel really good about it.
Yep.
But the rest of their schedule, man, there's not a team in this state who has an interesting football schedule this year. App State has got a good first month. Again, they always do. They play ECU, they play Clemson. But that's it, man. ECU schedule is very uninteresting. State schedule is very uninteresting. Carolina schedule is very uninteresting. I haven't mentioned Duke. I have a little bit of a crane your neck and look and see what happens at Duke. I'm totally worried about Wake Forest and what NIL is going to do to Wake Forest and what it was already done to Wake Forest, to be perfectly honest with you. And I think I saw this the other day when I think it was Notre Dame or maybe the Heisman odds. And I saw the quarterback from Duke at Notre Dame. And I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about, yeah. Not that Duke didn't go in and reload, you know what I'm saying? But I think people are going to have a hard time with that one again. You're going to watch that kid at Notre Dame and be like, now, where did he come from? Why did he leave? And yeah, man, Russell Wilson walked, man, so all you people could run.
Last week, I was in Wake Forest for hockey camps. This week, I'm in Garner for hockey camps. You know what I see?
The sign.
I see the sign. myhtr.com. Check them out. Hometown Realty. You can buy and sell with confidence. A lot of new construction. I see a lot of new construction when I was doing the Timber Drive on the way back into the studio.
I am so proud of you.
That's well, listen,
you went Timber to Hammond.
That's what Google told me to do.
You took the Gillio route.
I took the Gillio route.
Yeah.
And, look, man, seeing the downtown skyline down that stretch on Hammond Road, man, that's gorgeous. That's beautiful. But you know what I noticed?
You also saw a ton of construction and new house.
right. And if you want an in on that, Hometown Realty can help you out. So again, check them out. myhtr.com. Let's say you bought that house. You go to Whitaker and Hamer. That's how you do the closing. Or you refinance. You got to do closing. Real simple stuff. Speaking of the G, the beautiful part about being at the Polar Ice House in Garner, you know it's right around the corner?
You can pop in at Shady's anytime.
Anytime, although it's a Buffalo Bills bar. I don't know if I want to.
It's fine. Bills and State people are very similar.
Maybe I'll show up in Dolphins gear this year.
I forgot that you have a little bit of that.
We'll
in your
see.
background.
That's in me. So anyway, check them out. WH.lawyer. If you're trying to figure out how Clemson and Florida State are going to leave the ACC to go to the Big 12, I don't know. Maybe Whitaker and Hamer can help you understand the grant of rights. There's all sorts of things that you can do. So check.
How can I break this perfectly obvious contract that is seemingly unbreakable? Quick consult. You can't.
Let me take a sip of this smoothie before I look at it. Happy and Hale, check them out. Locations in the Triangle. We got North Hills, we got North Raleigh, got a location out in Durham, and of course, once that hockey season's back, you know what's up.
Let's take a break. Let's take a hockey break. Brought to you by Happy and Hale.
So the folks over at Happy and Hale have all sorts of wonderful, wonderful items to choose from. And the thing about Happy and Hale that I cannot stress enough, because sometimes you'd be like, it's that salad place. It's not just that salad place. They got smoothies. They got proteins. They have customizable. You can order what you want, but you can also kind of throw in your thing. You can make your own bowl while you're at it too. And the proteins, the chicken, steak, as you've had in the past, really, really good stuff.
August 15th, we'll be at the Happy and Hale on Six Forks. Also, I can now say, because it will be officially part of the menu, they have a Big Mac salad coming. I'm excited about this.
Ooh, okay.
Also, big shouts to our guy Matt over at Happy and Hill. So I was over there the other day.
Yeah.
I had lunch. And Matt's like, man, that interview with Tulski was great. Man, that interview with Rod was great. Matt's a big hockey fan.
Big hockey guy.
And I was like, yeah. I said Rod was like crazy honest. He's like, I know. He's like, I'm glad he said it though. I'm glad he said the part out loud. But I think Canes fans are kind of coming around to, all right, let's see, man. They're going through that stage of like grief, right? Like the stages, the acceptance. All right, these guys know what they're talking about. It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. So
check them out. Happy and Hale. Also, big thanks to Nature's Relief. Nature's Relief Hemp Store. Just go to their website to find out more. Better yet, just go to their locations across the triangle and you can get answers to your questions about CBD, Delta 8, Delta 9, the differences. What are the differences between something that you drink versus something that you eat? That's something that you can smoke. All that stuff is there at Nature's Relief Hemp Store. Check them out. RELEAF hempstore.com. I will certainly be going.
I was going to say Thursday through Saturday on the Western Boulevard location, 10 to 10 a.m., 10 p.m. Go check them out. Go get those drinks. But please leave me the sodas.
Mhm.
My sodas were sold out in Garner at the Nature's Relief. And you had a soda last week and you were
fine.
like, and I'm like, how? I just
It was
don't
fine.
get
No, I thought it was
I just don't
good.
get it.
No, I thought it was good, but it just doesn't affect me the way it affects you. You're a lightweight at the end of the day, man.
I am.
You're just a lightweight, man. Just an absolute lightweight. All right, let's get to the fastest growing segment on the fastest growing podcast that you might just check out from the Triangle. It's time for the lightning round. Let's go. I hit the wrong one again. What's wrong with me? Am I drinking that
Play the country one.
It'll be there Wednesday. I've
Oh,
been slacking on getting this stuff up and running
Seems
on
like
that
you
stuff.
might need a Friday administrative day.
Oh, yeah, I might.
Lightning round.
Yeah, the Motorhead part's the best part about this. All right, let's actually start with, we mentioned that the SEC Media Days are taking place, and I hope, by the way, folks in the ACC understand that given the deal between ESPN and the SEC is going to get the kind of coverage this week that the ACC will not be getting next week.
Yeah, don't forget this is year one of their exclusive partnership between the SEC and ESPN. As you warned people last week about Cooper Flag and watching a Carolina Georgia Tech game, and you're going to get inundated with Cooper Flag stats.
Oh boy,
Yeah,
get ready.
The SEC world is.
But we're not done with the Big 12 and their media days and how that relates to the ACC. We're not done because Jason Shearer, who covers Arizona, he had tweeted, and this tweet got sent to me a bunch over the weekend. According to sources,
this is some quality
this
report.
is fantastic. According to sources, there is an internal belief in the Big 12 that Florida State and Clemson are likely to join the conference within the next year or so. There is internal belief. Joe, I think you and I have internal belief on a lot of matters. I have internal belief that one of these days I'm going to win the lottery. One of these days my dad's going to hand me one of those scratch-offs.
So
He's going to give me the Lotteria ticket, and I have internal belief that one of those tickets will be the one where I win $1 million.
Tease me.
Come on, no. What are we doing with? I have a theory.
Go ahead.
I have a theory, but what I see this shit, and I'm just like, what are we doing? But I have a theory.
Didn't Clemson just suffer a significant legal loss?
I wouldn't say it was a significant loss. It's just about things like venue and stuff like that. So if you want to consider that a loss, so be it.
Okay.
Here's my theory.
Yes.
Brett,
Like Florida State's a total wild card, so I'm not dismissing anything that concerns Florida State.
Here's the thing. What do we know about college administrators over the last few years when it comes to this stuff? They're not as logical as you would believe.
Sure.
We saw this play out with North Carolina, where you see, well, Florida State's Board of Trustees is getting in on the action. What's going on here? You can go back to coaches. I got Pat Narduzzi. I got Mac Brown talking about NIL. Like, well, I heard.
Right.
I heard that such and such. Man, you're a head freaking coach. and you're talking like a message board user right now. You actually should know. You're the connected one. I'm sure you can break off a phone call right now to find out what's really going on. But instead, you go out there and you're like, oh, I heard. So I reference Brett Yormark as the SEO commish, right? The guy's about disruption. The guy's about just letting things go out there. Who's to say that this is not all sort of the sort of thing that it's not that Yormark is out here calling up Jason Scheer, but basically it's a, hey, you know what? We're just going to let this stuff ride because I know that administrators are going to look at this stuff and freak out. Administrators are going to see tweets like this. Joe, how many times have you dealt with an administrator or somebody in the athletic department that was like, hey, through a game of telephone, whether it was through a tweet or, hey, I heard on such and such, right? And then you have to explain context. Again, these are adults who make big decisions. And they're like, yeah, so I heard on this podcast or I heard on the air and such and such. This is the kind of stuff that you're dealing with. And that's what leads to a lot of the speculation. And I'm pretty sure that the Big 12 does not give a shit because what's it to them? Disruption? People talking about, sowing seeds of of discord within the ACC? Yeah, it's fine with me because I'll just go to the podium and talk about how we're open for business and we've got private equity money. We got this and that. Let them deal with that crap. And I got no problems with absolute bullshit tweets of internal belief that they could join the conference within the next year or so.
Yeah, that's the part that gets me. Internal belief is tripping you up, but or so is the
or
like
so
next week or like
I don't know.
Are we going to get what is your guy the West Virginia guy who's like,
the dude.
I've been telling you this for 10 years. You see,
10
I was-
Joe.
20,
It's been 20.
You
And
see?
this guy's like,
I
I've been
was
telling
right.
you, buddy, you've been doing this shit for 20 years, man. 20 freaking years.
Anyway, next up on the lightning round.
So fast.
Not as fast as people getting into ventilation ducts to break into Joe Robbie Stadium, like we saw at Copa last night.
I thought they were just going straight through the gate.
Dude, that game was supposed to start at 8 o'clock. I don't think it got going until 9:45 last night.
It's probably also a good time to note this is a World Cup venue in next year, 2 years.
So I did a little research on that yesterday because I knew the initial thought was going to be this country's not ready for the World Cup. Come to find out,
The venues aren't real.
well, here's the thing. See, I disagree. Come to find out that the group that's putting on Copa
Mhm.
is like Common Ball. I forgot the name of the acronym or whatever it is. But long story short, it's not FIFA. This is how
It's under the FIFA umbrella. CONMEBOL is the name of the organization. CONCACAF is where the United States plays with
Yes.
Mexico and Jamaica. CONMEBOL is the South American, Central American countries.
But do you think FIFA, who does World Cups, is going to run it like they did, that cut corners? That's the point, because there's been a lot of complaints about field conditions, practice facilities, all that kind of stuff, security, like we saw at Bank of America Stadium last week, what we saw at Joe Robbie Stadium yesterday, and how that all played out, where they had to clear everybody out, be like, well, if you don't have a ticket, you can't be in here. By the time the game started, they gave up. They were just letting people in. What this reminds me of is locally, right? We always get this question. Hey, man, how is it that Carter Finley Stadium can be super efficient for football games, but the minute there's a concert, all hell breaks loose? Hey, man, football games, this stuff runs pretty smooth. Hell, I'll even give you a concert. Why was it that the Stadium Series was a shit show? Because different people are in charge of different things in terms of logistics. And I've come to the understanding that this was run in a way that was not run for a football game, a Super Bowl. I mean, come on, man. That stadium's had Super Bowls. So you can't sit here and tell me that somehow the facility is not ready for this kind of stuff.
Oh.
It is. It's who's running it. That's all.
Well, who's involved too?
I don't know.
Well, Argentina, Colombia.
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
unless you go 1 for 1, to your point,
Mhm.
okay, no one's ready for anything if a mob decides what the mob is going to do.
That's fair.
No one, you got to go 1 for 1 on that,
Yeah.
or break out the ridiculous riot gear
Mhm.
for a football game,
Mhm.
right? Like, give me a break. Like, there should be some sort of semblance of civility, which I know is not going to be something that happens anytime in the near future.
They got
So,
2 years to figure it out.
Next up on the lightning round.
England is not the NC State
Man,
of European competition.
Man.
No.
I had the Cleveland Browns ticket ready to go the second that England won, and then when they lost, I'm like, another year of misery. It's like the groundhog that came out and saw his shadow. I was like, nope, sorry Browns, sorry Bill,
sorry England, you ain't winning on the international competition stage, baby. Sorry about that, guys. Not happening. But they go from the Euro to the British Open. Is it time for Rory to make good on his U.S. Open debacle?
Lightning round item number 3.
First of all, I want to see the weather this weekend. Josh Goodson and Bennett Johnson will do our picks for the OG Gambling Syndicate for the Open Championship this week. So that's tomorrow. But Rory has a bad habit of winning the week before the week. And he was playing well this week at the Scottish Open. And I was kind of if you always won the week before the week, don't play the week before the week. Mm-hmm. Save it for the week. Which we'll see what he does this week. Scotty Scheffler's just been so good this year. I have resigned myself to the fact that I really think he's going to win this tournament. I really do.
Okay.
Particularly if there's not any bad weather. But while Pinehurst was a challenge on the greens, the challenge of the Open is keeping the ball straight. And he has the ability with his irons and his length to really pull a Tiger Woods here this week at Royal Troon and just never use a driver if he doesn't need to on the bad days. And on the good days, his length is such that it really neutralizes a links course in the sense that it's not set up when there's not weather. It's just not set up for the modern game. And we saw this 2 years ago when Cam Smith beat Rory and Cam Young on the last day because the setup was just too easy at St. Andrews for these guys when the weather's not there to protect the course.
Last item in the lightning round.
Caitlin Clark's back in the news.
I was thinking about this before you get into this. We should give credit to the Fever and Caitlin Clark. She's improved tremendously in the last month or so, ever since we had our discourse about what's wrong with the Fever and what's wrong with Caitlin Clark.
Just about everybody's been good too. Like Angel Reese has been on a tear. There's rookie records that are being broken by a few of this class.
Reese is an interesting player. Caitlin Clark has accepted the challenge that was set in front of her. And she's put it in Tarasi's mouth now twice. And she's put it in now the Olympic team's coach yesterday.
So that's funny you mentioned that. So Myron Metcalf of ESPN, he's based in Minnesota. The Fever were in Minnesota yesterday. Cheryl Reeve is the head coach of the U.S. Olympic team, which is taken off for Paris, next week, I guess. And Metcalf tweeted this out. I asked Cheryl Reeve about Caitlin Clark on future national teams. Why the hell would I answer a national team question? I don't know, Cheryl. You're the U.S. team coach. That's probably why you would get this question and answer said question. She continued, I'm wearing links, and I'm the head coach of the national team, but I'm not the chair of the committee. Anybody want to venture into anything else?
Thought we were here to talk about Texas basketball. I thought we were here to talk about Minnesota Lynx basketball.
Big Chris Beard energy, man. If only Myron Metcalf could ask Cheryl Reeve about a Roy Williams situation, connect with Roy Williams, then everything would have been de-escalated. And of course, Cheryl Reeve was asked about Caitlin Clark because there was a moment where I forgot the sequence in general. It was in the fourth quarter. Caitlin Clark does something nasty, and she's hyping up the crowd that was there to see her, and she's staring right at Cheryl Reeve in the bench while whooping it up like, let's go, let's go, let's go. Reeve was asked about it after the game. She's like, I could give two shits about this right now. And then somebody followed up, two, not one? Yeah, two, which is a clever follow-up. Much like Bronny James, where we avoided a lot of that discourse, there are certain people in sports right now that just get people dumb. It's the old Cam Newton makes people stupid. Bronny James makes people stupid. Caitlin Clark makes people stupid, including the head coach of the U.S. team that is going to get questions about this.
Yeah, and we've seen this now twice with Kennedy Carter and now the Minnesota coach.
Yeah.
With the added attention comes added coverage. And I think when people are trying to ask you legitimate questions, they have to have better composure than what they've shown so far.
It's been tough to say.
And I really have enjoyed Gino Ariema's take on all of this stuff and about where these players are, including Angel Reese. I kind of rolled my eyes at Angel Reese because there's a meme going on right now of people who play like Angel Reese where you miss a layup and you like throw it off the backboard. And because she really struggles around the basket. And then
sometimes she does, yeah. Let's get that double streak going, man.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Why not? Why not? Oh, I lied. One
And
more.
good for the Liberty, by the way. Like quadruple teaming her on the last possession. I'd be like, nah, not on my watch.
One more.
Rare time where we actually talk about baseball. And a rare time where baseball seems to have gotten it right. You know who's starting for the All-Star game?
Yes, I do.
Paul
Skeens.
It's
Yeah.
about freaking time. Now, we're far removed from the days where we were debating whether or not this, rookie Cuban sensation should be even the All-Star game. The whole point of the All-Star game is an exhibition to put your best stars, including guys have taken over baseball by storm like Paul Skeens, to be out there. That's what you're highlighting. That's what it's about. And Paul Skeens has been a really interesting case where baseball's analytics are getting in the way of him going out there and like pitching no-hitters. I think it's twice so far this season where he's been on the mound for a potential no-hitter and they've taken him off because of pitch count, but then they don't do it on other nights. Very, very confusing. But I'm not here to bash baseball. I'm here to praise baseball because that's how you get people interested, because that's going to be an opportunity for a lot of folks to see Paul Skeens for the first time. So good on baseball. I'm proud of them.
What time's the game start?
Oh, it's probably depends. How's the crowd? Are they going to be climbing through the ducks to get into the All-Star game? I doubt it. By the way, do they know where the duck leads to? You saw the footage,
I
right?
did not see the air ducts. All I saw was the gates.
No,
I didn't
dude,
see air ducts.
There were people that were climbing into the industrial HVAC ducts out there looking like Bruce Willis in Die Hard.
I'm a die
Come
harder
out-
than my man Bruce Willis.
Come out to the coast. We'll have a few laps. Where did they think they were going? Did they know where it was going to dump them out? I don't. Like, were they going to the luxury suites? And we weren't like, I know where this duck's going to take me. It's like Mission Impossible. They're going to drop from the ceiling and just whoosh. And then they're, all right, I'm finally in the luxury box. I had questions about that. But I don't think anybody's going to do that for the baseball All-Star game. Nobody's going to be breaking into that. Just a hunch. Just a hunch on that one. Anyway, that's your lightning round, the fastest growing segment here in the Triangle in podcast form from two dudes in their 40s that talk about sports.
You're not going to be able to say that by this time
I
next
know.
year.
You're going to be 50 soon. It's going to be 50. Mosquito Authority, Pest Authority. I actually have to contact Pest Authority because there's a mouse in the house.
I got crickets in the house now.
Oh, really? Well, that's not good.
You can't kill crickets. That's not good. That's bad mojo.
It is bad mojo, but I don't mind killing a mouse. I'm just upset at my cats.
Oh, yeah. You have two built in.
So clearly there's a mouse that's gotten in through the island, the kitchen island.
Okay.
Because it's a gas event. So clearly they've gone under the house and then they've gotten into.
They're very resourceful.
Very resourceful. And I could hear like little pitter pattering around in the kitchen island. I'm like, okay.
I'm very familiar with this.
So I opened up the junk drawer.
No.
And sure enough, mouse was in that damn junk drawer. And of course,
mouse in the house.
Lila, who's like the little tiny killer, she's up on the counter. She's like investigating and stuff like that. And then I open up the drawer and I'm like, well, here's a snack for you.
Here you go.
Here you go. Like I'm saying, like I could
on a platter.
I could not have set it up better for her.
Contain space.
Like you clearly have bloodlust. Fine, kill the mouse. Open up the drawer. Here it is. And she just goes, oh, interesting. And she just starts sniffing it. I'm like, kill it.
Unleash the
Just do
fury,
thing.
bitch.
I've sat here and I've talked about how you are God's perfect killing machine. We're like, oh, cool.
No Tom Green. Huh?
Nothing. Just sniffing it.
Unleash the fury.
And then the mouse goes back into the island. I'm like, damn it, Lila.
Gone.
So I'm gonna have to call
Just
this like that. I'm gonna have to do that. So get an actual expert. Don't rely on your cats. I thought the cats were the
Bacon
experts.
grease on a trap. It's coming your way.
Oh boy. Big thanks to Butcher's Market. Rocking the shirt today. Check out thebutchersmarkets.com. You can get all of your goodies there. And with Butcher's Markets, you can get pre-marinated things. You get meals. All you got to do is pop them in the oven. It's all really, really great stuff.
You talked me into that frozen section, man.
Right?
Because those tuna steaks.
Told you.
Very nice.
I told
very
you.
Very easy to prepare. The hot dogs, again, I always go back for those hot dogs. You name it. It's
good stuff, man.
You can't go wrong. I mean, that's the thing about when people go over there and they're like, oh, the French dip was really good. Oh, the steak sandwich was really good. Oh, the Italian stuff. Yeah. Like, guys, this is not me like recommending, I'm not guessing.
Right.
You can't go wrong.
So again, thebutchersmarkets.com.
Home base, Lake Boone.
It's good stuff. Big thanks to Crank. Oh, hold on. A
Crank
second.
Arm. Those are our people.
Hold on. I gotta do the. I'm being a dumbass and I didn't change the little banner over. There's Crank Arm.
You just narrate it. That's what I do when you're not here. I like to narrate like a Bond villain. Like, I gotta, but I do it like in real time. I'm like, I gotta find the slide. Oh no.
Whoopsies.
Found it.
Whoopsies.
I got it.
So big thanks to crankarmbrewing.com. As we mentioned earlier, we're going to have our summer jam on July 28th. That should be a lot of fun.
That's a Sunday. Come see us, 1:00. Come hang out with us.
Should be a lot of fun. Should be a lot of fun. So let's go to the YouTube comment section, shall we? This is from, what do we got here? From Michael. The ACC makes more than the Big 12 right now. When the new contract kicks in year 2, the new media deal, the Big 12 passes the ACC in media deals. That's why FSU is pissed in this particular case. They don't like that UFC or UCF is going to make more than them. That's what started this whole thing with the FSU rants. Yes and no. That's the thing about these media deals. There's always money, man. They always find more money. They always sandbag it.
There's always money in the banana stand.
Of course. So every year the ACC comes back having made more money. And whether or not the Big 12 is going to have a bigger on paper media deal than the ACC, it still pales in comparison to the SEC and the Big 10. So I'm not quite sure why people are convinced that Florida State's going to be happy making $5 million more than they were in the ACC.
Again, I just want the playoff data. I think this is really the way to stave off any other kind of future moves. If Texas and Oklahoma don't end up in the playoff, if USC, which I don't think will ever have any success in the Big 10, that has to give people pause.
Yes,
it has to. Otherwise, what are you doing? What are you playing for? Money, or are you trying to win something? I don't get it.
I don't get it
that
either,
part.
man.
I don't get.
From Elliot, I find it disturbing that they are flying the SC and the NC flags in the stadium, like Gilio said last week. Those of us whose families have lived in the state since we transitioned from colonial rule are well aware that Mecklenburg County has never been considered part of the state, nor has Mecklenburg ever expressed any desire to be. Yeah, but it's you heard Bryce at the beginning.
I
the
did.
State of the Carolinas.
I did.
I enjoyed that. All right. Where else are we on the YouTube?
Give yourself a little love, man, from the hockey day. The guys were giving you a nice compliment. I thought it was nice.
Yeah. You know me with compliments. I don't do really well.
I know you don't, but I'm saying give yourself a little pat on the back.
What else do we have here? There was one. Where was one that I was looking at on the YouTube?
It's kind of depressing, isn't it, that people are so pumped about that stuff?
Yeah, I know.
Speaking of your SEO vibe,
I know, right? No, here's the one I was looking for. My bad. I'm completely engaged. Here it is. From Revisited One. The Cooper Flag hype train was going full steam 18 months before December 2023.
Sure,
dudes.
Sure. Sure. Whatever.
And one more before we get into actually complimenting ourselves. We had a comment, YouTube, a link to a bluegrass version of You Can Call Me Al.
Oh.
This is from Old Salt Union. People keep sending us bluegrass covers.
Not me. They send them to you.
Got a little reverb in that? Has anybody got that song?
What do we got here?
Down the street it says, why myself in the middle now? Why myself in the middle there? Wasting my life is so hard. I need a photo opportunity. I want a shot of redemption. Going into a cartoon graveyard of bones.
You can turn anything into bluegrass, man.
Unbelievable.
All right, that's going to wrap it up for today's show. We've got what coming tomorrow, Joe? Because Tuesdays are a little bit more of a let's marinate and talk to somebody. So what do we got set up for tomorrow's show?
Alec Makarevich was up here in the studio. Former ECU player, now a former NC State player. Baseball, had an amazing year, and really just wanted to get ahead of a conversation so that in 10 years we don't have to sit down and wonder, now why did AMAC leave ECU and go to NC State?
Yeah.
Let's solve this one in real time while we can. Fascinating guy. A great conversation. So looking forward to that. And yeah, you'll see me fumble through some ads and some other stuff too. So it'll be fun.
Just do it live, man. We'll just do it live. All right. We'll see you then.